Good morning, meteorologist Bill Murray. It's Sunday, August the 11th. This is your Sunday morning AlabamaWX weather briefing. And today, the 11th of August, marks the end of dog days, that part of summer. Highest heat and humidity doesn't really correspond to anything climatologically. It's just that generally hottest part of the summer when you don't feel like doing much outside. A glass of lemonade probably is preferable to any kind of activity, and things are going to be getting better slowly from here. Now, they're better this morning. That's just one of the highlights of the forecast this week. Two of those things are going to happen today. First, these lower humidities. These are dew point readings across North Alabama and Tennessee Valley. 60-degree dew points as I record this at 11 p.m. on Saturday night. 63, 61 there at Calera. So 61 to 65 across central Alabama. Still not much better across the southern half of the state, but we will take it. Now, these are the corresponding temperatures at this hour. Actually, 69 there at Haleyville in northwest Alabama. We certainly will take that. Lows by morning going to look like this. How about 63 at Scottsboro, 62 at Decatur, 66 at Calera? We'll take that too. It's going to be a hot one later today, but temperatures in the middle 80s in Tennessee Valley are not too bad. Temperatures there around 90, fairly seasonable in the I-59 and I-20 corridors. This is the mid-tropospheric look across North America. Up at about 18,000 feet or 500 millibars in the constant pressure height region, showing a deep upper level low there over southeastern Canada, areas there near Toronto, over across the lake from Michigan. We've got a broad ridge of high pressure all the way from California through Texas, sort of centered there from eastern Arizona and southern New Mexico into the Lone Star State. It extends across the south, including here in Alabama, and we've got the subtropical ridge to our east. Now, as we go through time, the trough moves off the east coast of the United States, sets up shop there, and that probably steers our next tropical disturbance. We see it coming into view here by Monday night into Tuesday. This could be Tropical Storm Ernesto. By that time, it could be Hurricane Ernesto. It's pegged at a pretty high probability, 90%, by the National Hurricane Center of becoming a tropical cyclone in the next 5 days. You see it emerging from the north coast of Hispaniola. It will certainly weaken during that transit of the island, but it will be moving then near the southeastern Bahamas, intensifying as we get into Friday. But you see a pretty sharp turn to the northeast in response to that trough there. You see the trough extending down into Virginia, eastern North Carolina, and the the southwesterly flow on the easterly side of that trough will pull that storm to the north. It could be fairly intense as it continues to the north. Now, there's some indications that a ridge over the trough could drive it back into New England. Here we see the possibility of a hurricane somewhere around 500, and those are heights. We can't really tell. We'll look at the surface chart in just a minute. Perhaps involving Cape Cod, Nantucket, and the Boston area. So a real traditional New England hurricane, perhaps moving into Maine, and then on out. You see that's next Monday and Tuesday. But a big ridge of high pressure builds over the United States for part of the week 2 period, and then we rinse and repeat with another trough over the northeast and the eastern United States. Now we'll go to the surface charts on the GFS. This is your Sunday chart for the 6 hours precipitation ending at 1 p.m. today. You can see Alabama's dry. Thanks to that high pressure, we've got disturbance moving through the Midwest. That's taking a rain an MCV with it, but it's weakening with time. Monday we're dry. Monday night we're dry. You see surface high there kind of settling in a little bit to our east. Another system coming through the Ozarks. We've got a little boundary lying right in here. That surface boundary and northwesterly flow contributing to a potential of another MCV here late Tuesday night into Wednesday. That could get into northwest Alabama. I don't really have that in my forecast for Tuesday. We'll keep an eye on that in terms of future development. Now, we do believe we could have an isolated shower or thunderstorm on Wednesday afternoon. Things will certainly be becoming more humid by Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see those dew points back into the lower 70s, and we'll see those high temperatures warming up again too. Calling for 96 on Tuesday. A little more in the way of showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, though, and that probably keeps us a little cooler. Thursday, look here, we got another MCV trying to work its way in here for Thursday. That would be interesting. That could produce some strong thunderstorms into western Alabama. But you see, it looks like it's weakening as it goes. We get into Friday. Still that boundary hanging around over the southwestern part of the state. Most of Alabama's dry. There's our tropical system, Ernesto, pushing east of the Bahamas, but we're continuing to be dry through the afternoon hours when we normally would see those diurnal showers and thunderstorms. Now, I've got widely scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for Friday, but if the GFS is right, we might have to take those out. Now we're getting into Saturday. It looks pretty dry again. Again, my forecast has got those scattered showers and thunderstorms, and we won't take those out just yet. But you see, Sunday's dry also, so not much chance of rain. We'll see in a minute on the QPF. That really is true. Low moving through the Ohio Valley there at the beginning of the week 2 voodoo period. It does look like rain would become a little more likely. High pressure over the Midwest strengthens its muscles, flexes its muscles, and that means a boundary down into the southeast. By Tuesday the 20th, showers and thunderstorms pretty likely over Alabama and the deep south. I think I saw a little bit of snow there in Alberta, western Canada. There by early in week 2. Yep, it's getting to be the time of the season. Boundary pushes a little to the south by midweek of that week, and you see looks like a rainy period for the Gulf Coast setting up there, although the week ahead looks like it's going to be beautiful along the beautiful beaches of Alabama and northwest Florida. Now, let's take a look at the tropics. We've got a tropical wave out here east of the islands. It's designated as 98L. We talked about it a minute ago. The Hurricane Center has about a 40% chance of it becoming a tropical depression over the next 2 days. That number's going to go up. Then over the next 5 days, it has a 90% chance of becoming a tropical depression. You see, as we go through Sunday night into Monday, it's still an open wave, but it's beginning to develop a decent circulation. I think sometime between Sunday night and Tuesday morning, it becomes a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm. And we see here it would be about a 50-mile-an-hour tropical storm moving into the southern leewards, the lesser Antilles, maybe the northern windwards, sort of like Beryl was, but certainly not as strong. Beginning to approach 55, 60 miles an hour here. This is Tuesday morning. It's into the eastern Caribbean at that point, definitely intensifying then, beginning to approach hurricane intensity, passing probably 7,500 miles south of Puerto Rico, and moving toward the island of Hispaniola. This is Wednesday night. Looks like the system makes landfall on the eastern end of that island. Doesn't take it long to emerge off the north coast. Doesn't lose much, if anything at all, in the way of wind. And it's back over the warm waters of the Atlantic again, trying to move awfully close to the Turks and the Caicos Islands and the Bahamas. There by Thursday night, the 15th. Then by Friday, the 16th, it's beginning to feel the effect of that trough. It is not intensifying substantially, actually is beginning to weaken. It moves to the west of Bermuda. That's this little speck right here. But it looks like Bermuda would probably experience tropical storm force winds coming late Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, perhaps Sunday morning. And you see as that ridge potentially builds to the north of the tropical system, we see the storm beginning to respond back to the west. And here we go, rolling into Maine. This is the 18Z run. Of course, the ensembles are still all over the place. We'll be watching that as we go through time. Nothing else in the next 2 weeks really threatening, according to the GFS, to become tropical anywhere in the Atlantic Basin. Now, this is the national blend of models. Temperatures at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport over the next 10 to 12 days, showing 90 today, 91 tomorrow, 94 on Tuesday. Falls back just a degree or two by Wednesday, Thursday, about the same, but we're pretty constant in the 92 to 94 degree range over the next 10 days or so, except for the next couple. And then overnight lows going to be right around seasonal, maybe a little above normal for this time of year. Overnight lows going to be between 72 and 74 as we get later into this week. I think that's all I got to tell you tonight, early on this Sunday morning. Weather Brain's weekly netcast. It's all about weather. We talked to our high school and college students on this week's show, or I guess last week's show that we recorded last Monday night. We'll record another show coming up tomorrow night, and our revered host James Spann, will be joined by Jim Spann from NOAA's Space Weather Center, and we'll be talking about lots of stuff. Hopefully, we'll see lots of meteors tonight. If you have a chance, especially if you can get outside in an area with very little light pollution. The Perseids will be peaking tonight, and this is one of the better meteor showers of the year. It's always nice because it falls during a warm part of the year. It'll be especially nice tonight because the moon is going to set early enough so that the peak will come without a moon in the sky. So if you can get outside, adjust your eyes, stay away from your artificial light sources, you could see potentially 100 meteors per hour tonight between midnight and 6 a.m. Now, there is a little bit of wildfire smoke, and I didn't cover this on the graphics, but we'll probably see some of that coming in here on Monday. That'll give the sky kind of a hazy appearance. Hopefully it won't dampen our ability to see any of the meteors tonight across central Alabama. But that's your weather video for this Sunday the 11th. I'll have notes on the blog, complete update on the forecast, overhauling any parts of it that need to be changed as we go through the day. I'll have frequent updates on Invest 98L, eventually becoming our next tropical depression, and eventually our named storm here over the next 5 days. James will be back with 2 days tomorrow. Scott will be here next Saturday. I'll see you next Sunday, and until I get that chance, as I always tell you, keep an eye to the sky because you'll always have something fun to look at.